You aren't just joining a police force. You are becoming part of a legacy that operates in the shadows and the light. Your life as a civilian is over the moment you hit submit on that portal. From the grueling woods of Quantico to the halls of power in D.C., this is the reality of the grind. You are about to see the secrets, the sacrifices, and the silence required to climb the ladder of the Bureau. Level 1, the applicant, the gatekeeper. Your journey begins with a job portal and a mountain of patience. You have the bachelor's degree and the 3 years of work experience, but now you wait 4 months just for a hello. You drive to a local field office, passing through metal detectors and armed guards who look right through you. Inside a windowless room, an agent asks why you're here, and you give the scripted speech about justice. But then, the questions get personal. They know about that night in 2019 and your college arrest because they've already spoken to your ex-girlfriend and your high school teachers. Next comes the polygraph, 3 hours of sensors measuring your racing heart and sweating palms as you confess things you've never told anyone. 6 weeks later, a letter arrives. You are reporting to Quantico, Virginia, and your life has officially changed forever. Level 2, the trainee, the crucible. For the next 20 weeks, the 547 acres of the FBI Academy is your entire world. You wake up at 5:30 a.m. in a dorm room that feels like a budget hotel, preparing to run the 6.1-mile yellow brick road through the dense Virginia forest. Your days are split between grueling physical tests and endless lectures on federal law and the bureaucracy of forms, like the FD 302 for interview reports. At the firing range, your hands shake the first time you grip your Glock 19, but by week 10, the shaking stops and you draw and fire on instinct. You spend hours in Hogan's Alley, a fake town where you execute search warrants and respond to bank robberies while instructors evaluate every move. The stress is a weapon designed to break the 20% who won't make it. When you finally graduate in December, you raise your right hand, receive your badge and credentials, and swear to defend the Constitution. Level 3, the Special Agent, the FNG. You are the FNG, the funny new guy, assigned to a small field office in the Midwest. For 2 years, you are a supervised rookie who doesn't make a single decision alone. Your world is 90% waiting and paperwork and 10% action. Your first case is a small-town bank robbery where only $8,000 was taken. You spend days reviewing security footage and calling local banks, a process that is far more tedious than you imagined. You finally catch a break with a stolen car and a meth addict suspect sleeping in a trailer. You cuff him, read him his rights, and feel nothing. It wasn't a movie. It was a file you had to close so you could move to the next one. Level 4, the Senior Special Agent, the Operator. After 5 years, you are off probation and assigned to a violent crime squad. You are no longer chasing meth addicts. You are mapping the lives of professional armed robbery crews. You navigate the egos of local cops who resent federal interference while you build a case from scratch. You photograph suspects, run surveillance, and listen to authorized wiretaps of them planning their next job. When the hit goes down, you are there with 5 other agents, blocking their escape and ordering them to the ground with your weapon drawn. No shots are fired, but you recover $200,000 and seize their handguns. When the jury convicts, you finally feel like the job matters. Level 5, the Supervisory Special Agent, the Manager. 12 years in, and you are no longer chasing cases. You are managing people. As a supervisor, you run a squad of 10 agents dealing with their burnout, divorces, and drinking problems. Your days are consumed by budget meetings, policy coordination, and writing memos to headquarters. When your squad thwarts a terrorism plot against a federal building, your face is on the news. The public sees a hero, but you don't tell them you weren't even at the arrest. That is leadership, taking the responsibility for the failures while giving your team the credit for the wins. You are exhausted and you miss the action, but you keep climbing. Level 6, Assistant Special Agent in Charge, the ASAC. You are transferred to a major hub like New York or Los Angeles as the ASAC, second in command of 200 agents. You oversee everything from counterintelligence to cybercrimes, managing hundreds of cases simultaneously. The politics are brutal. You answer to headquarters, the U.S. attorney, and the local mayor. You spend your time investigating your own people for misconduct and explaining operational failures to D.C. You smile for photos at community meetings, but you hate every second of the performance. You sleep 4 hours a night, and your second marriage is failing as you miss birthdays and school plays. You tell yourself it's worth it because you're making a difference, but some days it's hard to believe. Level 7, Special Agent in Charge, the SAC. You've reached the pinnacle for most, the SAC, running an entire field office. You command 400 people and manage relationships with senators and congressmen. Every decision you make carries the weight of national security. When you approve a raid that goes wrong and an agent is killed, you are the one who gives the eulogy at the funeral. You tell the widow her husband was a hero, but you don't tell her you could have done it differently. You carry that weight every single day. Level 8, Executive Assistant Director, the invisible power. You are back at FBI headquarters in D.C., leaving the field behind for good. You oversee an entire branch, managing budgets in the hundreds of millions and sitting in classified briefings with the National Security Council. You are invisible to the public, but you shape the entire direction of the Bureau. You haven't made an arrest in 15 years, but you decide which cases get resources and which investigations move forward. Your life is a 13-hour cycle of strategy sessions and crisis management. Level 9, Deputy Director, the Strategist. Only the director outranks you now. You run the day-to-day operations of 35,000 employees across 80 countries. You brief the president in the Situation Room during national security crises and testify before Congress, giving answers that are truthful but protective of the Bureau's secrets. You navigate the exhausting interagency politics of the CIA and NSA, where everyone hides their failures and protects their turf. At 62, your body is breaking down, your knees hurt, and your third marriage is barely surviving. You want to retire, but there is always one more crisis that needs your mind. Level 10, the ghost, the memory. After 40 years, you retire. There is a ceremony where you receive the FBI Medal for Meritorious Achievement, which will eventually just sit in a box in your closet. You move to a house in Virginia, far from the noise of the city, but you are alone with your memories. You can't explain your life to the people you knew before the Bureau. They are strangers now. You fish and golf, but you still find yourself walking the perimeter of your property at 3 a.m., looking for threats that aren't there. You realize that while a new applicant is just starting their dream of catching bad guys, they have no idea about the moral compromises and the things you can never unsee.